the national MPI, in a sense, becomes your anchor measure. And in a sense, the first circle I showed of who are the poor, we're going to use the identification method. And so it has to be accurate for the national MPI if you're going to use it to try to structure another measure. And so you may need qualitative work, you may need other kinds of triangulation to verify that the identification of the national MPI is accurate and there are not poor groups that are excluded, type 1, type 2 errors in the national MPI itself. But right now we're taking that as given, and so we're going to use it as what I call an anchor measure. That is the measure that most accurately identifies who is poor. And also is analyzed over time and by subgroups. So what you will then do is construct a second MPI. So for these purposes, I'm presuming you'll use an M0 measure, which is appropriate for ordinary and binary data, which is most often available on the censuses. And that you will use a counting-based construction that we've been discussing. But you'll construct a different MPI, MPI targeting, T, to identify the target population. What is different in this case is that before, for a national MPI, you justify the parameters normatively. But in the targeting measure, you are going to dial up and down the parameters to make the fit with the identification of the national measure as tight as possible. So you don't, in a sense, only need a normative justification. You also need to look at the fit with the national MPI and who they've identified as poor. In order to do this, the piece of information you need when you're designing a targeting measure is some database which has the survey data that are used for the national MPI, or the anchor measure if that's not a national MPI, and the instruments on the census. So for example, when Shumon Set and I worked on the India case, we didn't exactly have the census questions in the database that we were using, and there are certainly limits of what you can do if you don't have all of those available.